Good morning, you guys, and welcome back. So, I went and got a bunch of meat today. Chicken was on sale, and actually, this one had a bone in. And the only reason I did this beyond the price is I want to make a chicken bone broth also. So, at the same time, I am going to start dinner. I am making a green tomatillo sauce for enchiladas, and this is what goes into it. The only other thing I forgot to put in this pan actually was the jalapeno, which I ended up putting in with the chicken later. But there are tomatillos, garlic, onion, and like I said, should be a jalapeno. So, and in the meantime, I'm going to repackage the meat and get it put up. I like to separate my ground beef into 2 bags because I feel like 1.5 pounds, even though there are 6 of us, that is good enough for one meal with other things. Obviously, not a meatloaf, but it ended up working out really good. And then I will get to getting the chicken cut off the bones. I did have it's what I remember them calling a picnic pack, so it was legs and thighs, and I didn't end up deboning any of it and left it in its big pack and put it in the freezer. So I like to karate chop my meat. I like to have the ground beef in a flat pack because I find that it will actually defrost quicker for me. Anyway, so while that's getting up to a boil, I'm going to finish up the chicken. So I have pulled out the ice trays as you see, and these are the turkey bone broth, and I am going to pop them out of the ice trays and get them put into a bag, which I will mark, and then those will go in the deep freeze until I need them. I definitely learned the hard way that these probably were not the best ice trays to use. I actually found some yesterday at Walmart. Though they did come out, it's just a little complicated. There are some that are pure silicone. I could have just pinched and they would have popped out. So, yeah. But you live and learn. So now that the green sauce has had time to cook, I am going to add cilantro and the tomatillos, the onion, the garlic, all to this blender and blend it, and then it will go back into the pan. I am adding my sesame seeds right now because I figured I'm here. Go ahead, and I have already cooked my chicken so I can shred it. I was gonna change pans, but you know what? I'm gonna just put the chicken and the broth into a bowl, and then I will have it on reserve because I did end up using all of the liquid. But I'm just gonna save dishes. So to kind of finish off this sauce and get it going, I am going to put the green sauce in here, start re-cooking it, and then I will add some heavy cream to it and some chicken broth, and you just kind of wait for it to cook down just a little. You don't want it to go too long. You'll know, for me, taste is important, so tasting at this point, it was kind of on the bland end, and so I ended up adding some chicken bouillon to it, and it was perfect. I am now moving on to making jalapeno spears, rounds, whatever. I don't know what they're called. I wanted to pickle them myself, and so that is what I'm working on them in the background while this sauce is cooking. So I'm going to get all of my jalapenos chopped up and I am going to add some butter to the sauce because it has cooked down and it's the consistency I want. I'm going to finish up the jalapenos, get them put into jars, which are in my big pot over here, and then we will be moving on to the next thing. So I'm going to get the jalapenos packed in there nice and tight, but not too tight. You want the brine to get through it. I didn't end up having enough, so this might cost me dearly. They say don't make your own recipes when it comes to canning, so what I did when I didn't have enough brine for this is I added some more vinegar. So we'll see how it turns out. I'll let you guys know in a later video. Right now it's just sitting to marinate. So I am now going to work on getting the enchiladas done and put them to the side. It is nowhere near dinner time, and I'm going to tell you, I did not know this burner was on, so when I touch it, it just seared my fingers really quick. Nothing too severe, but it was enough to get my attention and not put the pan on. I did not realize I left the burner on. So in the red bowl is low moisture mozzarella. I have shredded the chicken by hand, and I don't normally do flour tortillas. It sounded good. They were good, but I would probably just do corn. So I'm going, oh, it's a mozzarella parmesan mix. So I'm going to lay cheese down. My kids are cheese heads. They love cheese. So there's a bunch of cheese in this, and I sprinkled maybe a fourth of a cup over the top. There was enough in the enchiladas. Anyway, so I put sauce down. I'm rolling these up nice and tight, and then dropping them into the pan. We ended up having just enough, which was good. So I just got busy and forgot to turn on the camera again. Okay, so I have been working on the jalapenos, got them sitting at the back of the counter so they can be left alone. I've pulled out the crock pot from the beef bone broth, gotten that taken care of, got everything separated. I'm going to give the scraps to Joni for her dogs, and then I am going to start working on a different pickle recipe. I have multiple choppers. I think I have 4 in total. One has a bin that is almost cracked completely, but it is my original one and it still works really good. It's just the bottom container is cracking. I am trying to find what works on this one. I ended up switching out for another one. I never did find out where the white slicer goes, and that is the downfall. So for this first recipe, I'm going to chop them up and actually cover them with some pickling salt and let them sit. That just gets the moisture out of them and hopefully make a crisper one. So this one will be a sweet pickle. That is Connor's favorite, and so we'll see how it turns out. But this time, instead of doing spears, I am doing slices, and I'm using actual cucumbers. I wasn't 100%, but everyone I have talked to has said that you can use just, normal cucumbers. You don't necessarily need the pickling cucumber. And then I will pack the jars and pour the brine over it. We had more luck out of this brine. There was more for the pickles. And then I am actually just going to put these into the fridge after being on Pinterest and reading a couple articles, and I shouldn't have, but 7 mistakes when canning that will kill you, and I was like, oh, and so I'm a little worried about not putting these in the fridge, and they weren't sealed as if I was. So with the jalapenos, I did end up boiling the jars, boiling the lids, and then I put them have the pickles sitting in a colander. I don't know why I couldn't remember that name. And they're draining into the bowl underneath them. And now these will go to being a dill pickle, because though my pickles turned out really good, they really don't work for a sandwich. And so I want to make sandwich worthy pickles. working on the second brine. This is the dill brine. So before I didn't have enough dill in them. I am not a big dill fan, but with pickles, it's kind of a duh. They need to taste like dill. And as you can see, the enchiladas are coming out. And I am just looking forward to my night being done. I am so tired at this point. But I gotta boil off the brine. We are waiting for Mom to come in. She had a job interview today. And actually, I think I'm talking to her right now. And I'm going to get the liquid put into these 2 jars and then also get these into the fridge. So I didn't label them. The dill ones have a gold ring and lid, and the other ones have a silver. I cheated. They're from my home use, so, and there was enough brine for these also. Those are supposed to sit for at least a week. The sweet one said that they needed to sit for at least 2 to 3 days. And we will see, actually. This recipe I did end up cutting in half because it was like 4 cups of water, 2 cups of vinegar, and I was like, okay, I don't have 10 to 12 pickling cucumbers, so I'm gonna go ahead and back that recipe off. And actually it was really easy, and I ended up putting extra garlic in it, so we'll see how that turned out. I know the first time I made it per the recipe, turned out just fine. We have the perfect amount of enchiladas to feed everyone. Anthony is gone for gaming this night, and so I don't have to worry about feeding him. And so we will eat here in a second and clean up. And thank you for joining us. My voice is starting to leave. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for all the love and the support. Bye. Love you.